The insane 2% home loan guarantee isn't good enough. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your Stein and let's have a look at these, complaints that the insane 2% home loan guarantee, the family home guarantee, it's just not good enough. It's not going to help everyone. Single parents need to be able to buy everywhere in the best suburb with only 2% deposit. Are we becoming such an entitled society? Is that what is happening in Australia? This is insane. The fact that this scheme is even put forward is insane. Where's the criticism of it? Maybe we should be looking at all of the government interventions in the market which is juicing up housing. Maybe we need to look at the councils that are making it so difficult for people to do developments. Maybe we need to look at the politicians that are trying to intervene and stop low-cost housing developments for political reasons, backed up by their inner-city, bourgeoisie, millionaire house-owning, latte-sipping voters. Maybe we need to look at just how it's gotten to the point where people both have to work and slave away just to get into a cheap, rendered piece of crap foam house these days. But before we do that, let's look at the government coming to the rescue, everyone. Because they intervened. There should have been a housing correction. We'd have first recession in 28 years. But don't worry, a mountain of debt has made sure that hasn't happened, at least not yet. You've got the trading while insolvent provision still around half of where they should be, everyone. I thought in recessions, companies went bust. I thought times got hard. I'm remembering back to the one in my childhood, because that's the last time we had a recession. I think there are a lot of people in the workforce that don't even remember it. You had JobKeeper just propping up entire aspects of the economy, 9% of Victorians. We've got juicing of the housing market. You may think that the money that you're getting is great. It's free money, fantastic, the government's helping out. It all disappears in increasing costs, everyone. You've got a cash rate which is artificially low. 3% used to be the emergency level. You've got Home Builder. Home Builder's working. It is working really well. It's stimulating housing. Remember, housing is the piñata that the government hits. Both sides of politics have done it. Honestly, in some ways, I prefer Home Builder to the Fat Bat scheme, because the Fat Bat scheme was completely stupid, had no benefit, you didn't have individual control, and people died because there were so many shonky people doing it. But, you got first home buyer grants up to 88 grand, state and federal, for Australians and non-citizens. You got the 5% deposits, the 5% ones. And I was worried about those. Now we got the 2% ones. You got negative gearing, which I don't blame people for taking advantage of. Because how much tax do we pay? We're third highest in the OECD, everyone. Australians are taxed a lot. We're a good little compliant tax cattle. You've got the super withdrawals. That juiced up the market too. Don't think it didn't. And with negative gearing, it's not just the rich, it's everyone. It's normal people taking advantage of it to get off the tax yoke that the government puts on us. Maybe there should be a discussion about why so many people are depending on this. Maybe some real tax reform. And not the media just going on about how, the rich are getting more of a deduction. Boo-hoo. You've got housing supply reduced. We've had the loan holidays, the bank holidays, which... Did anyone expect that? Probably only Martin North predicted this unnatural interventions in the market. You've got the NIMBY crowd, the not in my backyard crowd. You're seeing it all the time. All these protests inner city, particularly here in Brisbane. We don't want development in our suburb. We don't want this. We don't want that. And then it's the same people whinging, probably voting Greens, about affordable housing is an issue. Come on. You can't have it both ways, guys. You've got just the pain of local authorities intervening and regulating the market to such an extent. That's going to have an impact, everyone. You've got to understand that. These are the prices that all add up. Land availability as well adds up to reduced housing affordability. So Let's look at some of the current asking prices. You can see here, this is SQM research. Nationally, we're at 1 million over. For 3-bedder, it's 964. Now, including the regions, everyone, it's a little bit cheaper. You're at 674, 594. Same thing for units. Sydney, there you go. Oh, whoa, look at that. Look at that jump from March to now in Sydney, everyone, for housing. Units are kind of flat. They're kind of flat. Melbourne, little uptick, but still flat for most of since 2020. Slightly unexciting. Brisbane steadily climbing up. Now, all houses 673. 3-bedders 582, everyone. 582 in Brizzy. So let's have a look at this. Single parent home scheme. And it really should be called the single mother home scheme, because come on, everyone, we know that the majority of single parents are single mothers. Is set to help no one in the major cities. No one. It's not good enough. Guys, this 2% deposit scheme isn't good enough. I'm just shaking my head. It's nuts. Single parents in most major cities in Australia will not be able to afford a home or unit under the federal government's new 2% deposit scheme. Yeah, that's because all of these type of things just juice up the market. Low interest rates juice up the markets. I mean, if we have a look here. Our Reserve Bank governor is not interested in housing rates. RBA will not raise rates to slow the housing boom. They don't care about it. There are various tools other than higher interest rates to address these concerns, leaving monetary policy to maintain its strong focus on the recovery in the economy, jobs and wages. That's what they're worried about, jobs and wages. They're not worried about housing costs. They just want wages to go up. And we know they're so good at predicting wages, everyone. We know they're fantastic at that. So, that's the thing. With deposits going down, it equalizes, but it averages out, everyone. It evens out. Inflated property prices and caps set below most median house and unit values mean the majority of single-income parents won't be able to access the single-parent family home guarantee scheme. Home loan experts have dubbed the scheme unrealistic, while the federal opposition said it will only assist a fraction of single-parent families. Latest property figures from CoreLogic show the median house price in every major capital city is more than $100,000 above the house price cap under the scheme, while single-parent buyers in Sydney and Hobart would not even qualify for a unit at the median value. Yeah, so you don't get one at the median value. You get a cheaper one. Okay? You don't want this going too high, because then the repayments are going to be decimating on these people that only have one income and have to take care of their kids. This is a nightmare, this situation. I wouldn't even want to be in this position. In Sydney, the cap is $700,000 for existing dwellings. However, April median house prices in the greater metro area stood at $1.47 million, and median unit prices were $771. Well, yeah, if you can only afford a 2% deposit, you're not going to be able to buy in the best parts of the city. Okay, you're going to have to go somewhere cheaper. Shock, horror, gasp. Come on. Rate City Director Sally Tyndall said the proposed scheme was not the white knight for single parents to gain access to stable housing. Well, isn't the white knight like a derogatory? I'm just used to the whole, online community, like white knight blokes simping for some ethos or something. I guess I'm just jaded. I've got too many meme Facebook groups I join. That's probably what it is. The scheme has good intentions, however it does little to address the overarching issue of housing affordability in property hotspots around the country. Well, then you move out of those property hotspots and you go somewhere cheaper. Or, come on. Helping single parents get greater security around where they live is important, but the property price cap attached to this scheme aren't realistic for many single parents who need extra space for their children. An anticipated ongoing boom in property prices by the end of the year will also mean the median unit value in Melbourne, Canberra and Perth exceeds the property price cap under this scheme. Currently, the median unit price in Melbourne is $599,000, which is just below the scheme's cap of $600. Hopefully, by the end of the year, Melbourne's median, however, by the end of the year, Melbourne's median unit value is tipped to be to jump to 669,000. The scheme allows a single parent to gain a mortgage with a 2% deposit without needing lender's mortgage insurance. The federal government guarantees the remainder of the deposit and will take the hit for the proportion of funds if a mortgage holder defaults. The SPFHG is an extension of the First Home Loan Deposit Scheme and has 10,000 spaces available over 4 years. Labor's spokesperson for women, Tanya Plibersek, remember Plibersek, who was offered a shot at leadership but took it down, whose husband is an interesting character and who believes in the wage gap. That's the best Labor has to offer now. You've got these social policies, the sexist and racist policies just embedded, this woke garbage embedded in Labor. I don't know how any working class Australian can actually support them. I think a lot of them do it out of habit. Or the fact they just hate the LNP, which I can't fault them for, to be honest. We don't have much choice in this country, do we? A lot of them are getting this, frustrated with it and moving over to One Nation. So the scheme is no help at all and would not assist enough single-parent Australian families. There are a million single-parent families in Australia. 1 million. Shouldn't that be the issue? Shouldn't that be the serious issue? Why are we getting to such a high level of single-parent families? Some of them, I'm sure, it's through no fault of their own. But what's going on? Why is the number so high? Why isn't that being discussed as a social issue, as a problem of our time? Maybe this is why we've got all these woke kids running around, gluing themselves to the road, terrified the world's going to end. Do we have a fatherlessness problem here in Australia? You have children who have been stuck in childcare since a very young age, suffering abandonment issues. This will help only 2,500 a year for 4 years, Plibersek said. The policy is tiny. It'll cost the budget just 300,000. It's too small and offers basically no help at all. Scott Morrison's the classic ad guy. Great at generating a headline. Then he's all like TNCs may apply. Well, that is funny. And she's right. I mean, that's it. What would you rather, the ad and less tax spending? Or not? According to Rate City, a 2% deposit on a $700,000 mortgage with a 3.3% variable interest rate would attract a monthly repayment of $2,941. Using average wages from the ABS for a female private sector worker. Yeah, notice how they're not using a public sector worker. Okay, just notice that. Because there is quite a difference, everyone. If you're a private sector unionist, your civil servant sector's comrades are doing a lot better than you. A lot better than you. And, I don't blame people for taking advantage of it. Not at all. But it's a bit of a rort, guys. You've got to understand that. If you're on the back of the U pushing from the tray, you're not really contributing. Anyway. A loan of that magnitude equates to roughly half of their monthly salary just to service the loan. Yeah, that's it. That's why the cap should be lower. Maybe we should only do it for $350,000 houses or $400,000 houses. This is the problem, guys, when you have a situation where both people in a relationship need to work just to get a mortgage. That means it's virtually much harder for people to get in by themselves. Throwing more money at it, making it easy for them to get into it isn't going to help. And that's why you hear all the stories of these young people that got into a house working at Macca's. They were living at home. Most of them were living at home and just put everything in the housing, bought at the time just before the market boomed, and then just use equity to ride it up. I mean, good on them. Don't blame them. But, I wouldn't be paying thousands of dollars for their course when a big chunk of their start was luck. But each their own. Anticipated rises in interest rates over the next 3 years would also mean the amount of debt outstanding would increase. Yeah, exactly. So what, do you want this scheme or do you not want this scheme? Ms. Tyndall said a single mother on the average female wage would likely be unable to buy a median-priced apartment in most cities without being in severe mortgage stress. Yes, so then what's the point of even being critical of it? Buying property with a wafer-thin deposit can be risky, especially in the face of rising interest rates, she said. The bigger the loan people have, the more they're going to be impacted by increased rates down the track. The scheme is available for single parents earning up to $125,000 annually, and the sole parent can be the only person listed on the title of the property in the loan. It is available for existing or new dwellings, and the person must not already own a property. A new home application has a larger price cap than existing dwellings. So, and they've contacted the minister for comment. I mean, what do you think, everyone? What do you think? I think the fact that we have 1 million single parents, that's a whole other issue that we need to discuss that's going on here. That's not a good social sign. And I know it's a lot of people, it'll be through no fault of their own. Relationship breakdowns, things happen, life happens. But we need to look at why it's getting so high. Because that's going to have social issues go moving forward. You want stability for children. So, there you go. The insane 2% loan scheme isn't good enough. Everyone, isn't good enough. I mean, what's the solutions? What's the lesson? As always, we need to get off the bloody housing gravy train. But are we becoming too entitled? Are we becoming an entitled people, an entitled populace, expecting the government to always come to the rescue? Is there any advocacy in the media for individual agency and responsibility? Does that even exist anymore? You even get that at school. It's probably beaten out of the kids with the education system. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one. What do you reckon, guys? You think it's a good thing? Should they increase the cap to allow these single parents to struggle with even huger mortgages? You can't win, you can't lose. Well, no, you can't win. you lose or you can't win. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using SelfWealth or Stake. You can sign up for use our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy merch, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.